yourself, am I happy? Is the job still fulfilling? Happy. 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 Happy.
What's good, everybody? Whenever you are,
Fulfilling.
wherever you are, I hope you are having a wonderful time. I'm coming at you live from the ruudidi stream. I, Rudy Donovan, am your host. Now, you might be asking, just who is this ruudidi? There's a few ways to answer that. But today, it's snacks. It's with snacks. I'm going to show you. So, I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to show you, and then I'll tell you exactly everything about this, okay? Check this out. They're so cool. Also, what's up, Leith? Welcome to chat. How you doing, dude? Okay. So, at the place I am currently renting from, I came in, and on the first day, they gave me the rundown. First of all, I came in, and there's cameras everywhere. Everywhere you see, there's cameras everywhere. Okay. Two houses down from the house I pull up to, there's like 50 birds on one guy's roof. And like it's really weird because these houses are like big. These houses are really big, and they seem kind of nice. Like people put some money into these houses. So the fact that there were just like all those birds on this guy's house, I gotta take a picture sometime and show you. It's fucking insane. I just gotta, take a picture without looking like a weirdo. Taking a picture of some guy's house. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Upon further inspection, I realized that's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea. Not going to take a picture of a random guy's house. It's, some other time. Some other time, maybe. Spirits aren't real. They're spy bots. Don't trust them. Exactly why I should not take pictures, because they'll know. They'll see with their eyes. The thing about those pigeons, by the way, is everybody knows this, but nobody is courageous enough to go out there and do it. But they're free. They're free. Those birds are free. You know what I mean? Nobody wants them. They're free, and there's tons of them. Okay, you could get a pigeon. You could teach it to do anything. Okay, there's like psychological experiments or whatever where they're like, can we make a pigeon eat its own ass? And after much experimentation, the answer was probably yes. I don't know. Regardless, I pull up to the house with all the cameras, and I'm like, yeah, okay, sick. Come in. Actually, I'm like walking up, and like as I'm walking up, someone comes out. Someone comes out, and I'm like, oh, because like I'm renting an Airbnb right now. I shouldn't have to. I mean, I shouldn't see people on check-in, and I have not in every Airbnb I've ever stayed at. Okay, but they came out. They came out and greeted me, which was super sick because not gonna lie, the door system was very complicated when they explained it to me. Um, it's great though, extra security. I guess. Anyways, shows me to my room. Shows me the door code on my room because there's door codes on the rooms now. And sets me up, explains everything, and I'm cool and I'm chilling, sitting down. I didn't bring any of my shit with me at the time. Like all of my stuff, like my whole setup was like still at the last place I was renting, so I was just sitting here with my phone and like my dick in my hand. And I started moving some shit around so I could like get the feng shui the way I like it, the way I enjoy. And I hear a knock on my door. Actually, no, that's not the case. I get a text. And they're like, "Hey, the owner would like to give you a gift because of how long you're staying, because I'm planning on staying for a while." And she comes, yeah, she's already outside my door. I open the door and she has these in her hand. These twists. Okay. And she handed them to me. She said, "These are a gift from the owner of the place." And she said, what are they supposed to say? It's like, they're supposed to be like crackers. So I'm going to try one right now and see. I'm going to let you know how it goes. Just let you know how this tastes. This shit's going to pop, dude. Get ready, chat. The fuck is this bag made of, dude? Okay, I swear this bag is like, it's made of like fucking titanium, dude. Holy shit. All right. All right, you see that, chat? This is cool, though. Okay, so here's one. Up close and personal. Let's see if the small bags are as hard to open. No, we're chilling. Okay. Honestly, it smells like a Parmesan bite. You know what I mean? Like you would get at Domino's. Or like a garlic knot. Oh, so much plastic. Where you shake my head. Yeah, actually, this is a lot of plastic. But strong plastic. Fucking apparently, dude. They mixed steel in with it. Okay. Is there anything cool in the package? Nope. They're just telling me to throw it away. I don't listen to authority. Just kidding. Okay. This thing's pretty heavy, dude. It's thick, dude. Like, this is dense. Okay. Mm. 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 Okay. The consistency, wow, excuse me. The consistency is the same as a crouton. All right. Like if you were to cut this up and throw it on top of a salad, I wouldn't know the difference. Especially those croutons that are like long. You know what I mean? The cylinders, they're the fun croutons. All the other ones are literally square. This is good though. This is really good. Okay. So here's the tea. Here's the tea. A friend of mine was flying home from a work thing. I'm not gonna say where. Um and they had a connecting flight that landed in Las Vegas, which is here where I live. They had a layover that was like 2 hours long, so they hit me up yesterday and they were like, "Hey, do you want to meet up? You want to meet up and you want to chill?" And I was like, "Yeah, cool, sick. Let's do it. Let's get it." And I tried to convince them to stream with me because first of all, they're another content creator who like makes content and like does stuff. But I could not. Okay? All right. Let's just say the stock price of Rudy is pretty high. Okay, she wanted to spend time with me alone, but not like that. Okay, this is a friend of mine, completely platonic. Um, but the stock prices are going up, boys. All right, you better get yours quick. All right, you better get some now. All right. Um, this is gonna be a really really short stream because of the fact that I am like 3 hours late. Okay, nobody needs to remember that fact. In fact, if there's like a little, if I had like that little Men in Black like flash thingy, I'd flash you guys. Just imagine I just flashed you right now, chat. I don't know the sounds, and now you don't remember anything I just said in the past minute. Yeah, that sounds like enough time. In the past minute, okay. So I came completely on time. Hello, everybody. However, it will still be a very short stream. Um, I'm just gonna hit you guys with some updates. We're gonna go over what's going on in Palestine. Right now, the IDF is preparing, still amassing for a ground invasion. So, um, what's Discord proof? You ain't got shit. Plus, you still don't know how to clip yet, so you don't know nothing. All right? Stay flashed, okay? Stay flashed, idiot. Don't remember anything. All right? Listen. You bastard. Listen. Um, there is important shit continuously happening, and news and media outlets tend to focus on less important shit on like Fridays, like more clickbaity shit that'll just like get your attention. And they might stop covering what's happening in Gaza for a little bit. You know what I mean? And so they can focus on other shit, which is the perfect time for the Israeli state to do something, I don't know, even more atrocious than bombing a hospital and killing 500, you know? And maybe this time they don't have to pretend that they don't know anything about it, or they don't have to deny it, because no one will know about it because the media just doesn't cover it. So that's why I'm here fucking blasting these updates. All right, we're going to let you know what's going down, what happened today. We're going to do a wrap up of news not only in Israel, Palestine, occupied Palestine, but also here, news here in the States. We got some shit going on that's important, and we're going to get into the whole James Jordan debacle. And it's It's a hell of an Ohioan story. Let me just put it that way. Okay. But we'll get into that in a bit. Not too deep. These are just going to be quick updates for you for today. And then tomorrow we'll get back into normal stuff. And we will also have some fun. We will also do some fun stuff, but it's very important to, I mean, you guys understand, you get it. We're going to keep ourselves appraised of what the fuck is going on. So let's just dive right in. Let's just get right into it. So, first things first. Let's get a quick snapshot of everything going on in the world.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Dozens of Palestinian civilians have been killed in Gaza as Israel bombed the besieged Palestinian territory for a 13th consecutive day. The Palestinian Health Ministry reports nearly 3,800 Gazans have been killed in Israeli strikes since Hamas's October 7th surprise attack on southern Israel, which killed more than 1,400 Israelis. The human rights group Defense for Children International Palestine reports Israeli strikes have on average killed one child every 15 minutes in Gaza since fighting escalated. This is Dr. Hassan Abu Sita, a surgeon in Gaza City who narrowly survived Tuesday's explosion at Al-Ahli Hospital, a blast Palestinians blame on Israel.
40% of all the cases that I've seen have been children. A lot of them have been like this. They've lost one or two parents. And unfortunately, these kids have a long, long recovery road in front of them.
Earlier today, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak arrived in Tel Aviv, where he was greeted by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Sunak said he believed Israel's military is, quote, taking every precaution to avoid harming civilians. He made no mention of Israel's decision to cut off food, water, fuel, and medicine to Gaza, a siege that's widely considered a breach of international law.
He said, "You're doing great, boss." Yo, BB. Hey, BB. You're doing good, man. You're fucking killing it out there. Human rights abuses. Where, dude? I don't see them. You cut off water to terrorists as far as I'm concerned. That's what these fucking psychopaths are thinking. Okay? That's literally their train of thought. Okay? That there are no civilians in Gaza. They probably don't even consider the people in the West Bank to be civilians, to be honest. But they do not give a fuck. They won't do any deeper research. And also they have it. There's a very deep history between India and the Muslim world. Someone talked about it yesterday, but gotta get Bobandy in here to tell me about it, because I don't know. Israel is really working to become the BBEG for a while, for a whole ass D&D campaign. What's the BBEG? The bad guy ending game. Boss bitch ending. Big bad evil guy. Okay, that makes complete sense. Oh. BBG. Instantly thought of BBL as soon as I saw that. I was like, man. Yeah. It's all thanks to the Likud party. And this guy is from said party. Okay. The Likud party is like the biggest party in the Knesset. So shit's crazy, dude.
On Wednesday, President Joe Biden said Egypt and Israel have agreed to allow 20 humanitarian aid trucks through the Rafah border crossing into Gaza. The trucks aren't expected to arrive until Friday. A spokesperson for the Red Cross and Red Crescent Society said, quote, "We're talking about 2 million people who are in need of everything, so 20 trucks will be a drop in the ocean," they said.
And that's not even the fucking end of it, dude. They go into it later in this video, and it makes me so fucking mad. They try to stop the aid. Okay, there are people in the same governmental body that is sending the aid. There are people that are trying to stop the aid. Okay? And it goes into the video later. Bernie talks about it. Fucking the man. Okay? You'll see that. For some reason it loops back around a little later, but we'll make it make sense here.
In the occupied West Bank, health officials say at least 7 Palestinians were killed by Israeli forces and armed settlers over the past day amidst mounting military raids and
This is the West Bank, by the way.
arrests. 60
No Hamas in the West Bank. There are no Hamas in the West Bank. It just does not exist.
9 Palestinians have been killed in similar attacks since October 7th. Major protests across the West Bank have also taken aim at the ruling Palestinian Authority, which has launched a violent crackdown on demonstrations. A 12-year-old Palestinian girl named Hassan Nasrallah was shot and killed by PA security forces Tuesday during protests in Jenin following the deadly bombing of Gaza's Al-Ahli hospital. The United States has vetoed a UN Security Council resolution calling for a humanitarian pause to Israel's relentless bombardment of Gaza Strip and its 2.4 million inhabitants. The resolution, sponsored by Brazil, called for full, rapid, safe, and unhindered humanitarian access for UN agencies to deliver life-saving aid to the besieged territory. It included a condemnation of Hamas's attacks on Israel and demanded the immediate and unconditional release of hostages. On Wednesday, 12 of the UN Security Council's 15 members voted in favor of a humanitarian pause in Gaza. Russia and UK abstained, while the United States used its privilege as a permanent member of the Security Council to exercise its veto. This is the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas Greenfield.
I want to see something really fast. Like, I understand that the US is the entirety of the UN, but like, can I just how the fuck? Oh, this is a banger. Hold on a second.
और जो ये इलेक्शन में 5
Wrong language. Okay. I'll have to come back to that. That's just, I mean, it's no surprise that the UN is just, you know, big dicking their way through security councils and deciding how things fucking work and go. Okay. You're about to hear some vile shit. Fucking hope you're ready, dude.
Its privilege as a permanent member of the Security Council to exercise its veto. This is the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas Greenfield.
The United States is disappointed this resolution made no mention of Israel's rights of self-defense.
The United States veto.
You know, you got to be a certain kind of ghoul, right? To see this narrative put in front of you And then to allow yourself to read this and become a mouthpiece of genocide. Like, this has so many parallels to the Afghanistan invasion and setting us up for the war in Iraq that it's painful to watch back and see. Like, we are witnessing, you know, there's all this shit that gets in the way of, you know, us seeing the real footage, but we still get to see all of the bomb victims, the aftermaths, the people, the children, you know what I mean, after they have been blown up. You know what I mean? Like, we get to see that shit. It's not like, no matter what you do, it cannot be hidden, and it is continuously being spread around. With the internet, you can't stop it. Like, it's impossible now. So now you are actively pushing in the wrong direction of history, pushing against humanity. It's sickening, dude. It's fucking sickening. No thoughts, head empty. Can't think for myself. Can't decide that I am going to fucking say whatever the fuck I want since I have the ability to. They may still fucking take me off this stand and replace me with somebody else who will still say the words and puppet everything that they want to hear and will still veto, because I don't have any power over what the fuck happens. But as a spokesperson who has the mic right now, I am vehemently against the active genocide happening in Palestine. That's what the fuck I would say. That's what the fuck I would say. You gotta be kidding me, dude. This is pathetic. Oh, I want to keep my job. People want to keep their fucking lives, dude. Let's keep going.
Of a humanitarian pause in Gaza came 2 days after the U.S., France, Japan, and the United Kingdom rejected a Gaza ceasefire resolution proposed by Russia. Palestinian UN Ambassador Riyad Mansour spoke after Wednesday's vote.
It is beyond belief that some still speak of a right to self-defense of an occupying power that has made clear it is seeking blind vengeance, forced transfer, and annihilation of our people.
An Israeli Parliament Ethics Committee has suspended Knesset member Ofer Kassif for 45 days after he criticized Israel's assault on Gaza.
You guys remember yesterday how we watched on the stream Hassan interviewing this very man, a member of the Communist Party within the Knesset, openly speaking out against the atrocities being committed by the Israeli state, spearheaded by the Likud party. So yeah, he's been fired. Is that correct? Let's hear
has
it.
Suspended Knesset member Ofer Kassif for 45 days after he criticized Israel's assault on Gaza. His suspension comes as Israeli authorities have arrested more than 100 Israeli citizens over social media posts supporting Palestinians in Gaza. At least 70 Israeli university students face suspension or other disciplinary action for posting pro-Palestinian sentiments online. To see our interview with Ofer Kassif, you can go to democracynow.org. in Washington, D.C., Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders has blocked legislation that would have effectively barred U.S. humanitarian aid from reaching Gaza.
This is full circle.
On Wednesday, Sanders objected when Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott tried to pass the so-called Stop Taxpayer Funding of Hamas Act.
Right now, there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of innocent men, women, and children in Gaza who have lost their homes. They've been thrown out of their homes. They have no food, they have no water, they have no fuel. And I remind my colleagues that half of those people are children.
Pentagon Chief Lloyd Austin has ordered an additional 2,000 U.S. troops to deploy to the Middle East in support of Israel. The order...
Look at these guys. They're so ecstatic to get right to fucking killing them all. Can't wait. He's ecstatic, bro. Every last one of these clips and moments has been a certified shoe moment. What I like to call a certified shoe moment. Okay? And of course, I'm talking about when George W. Bush, our great president, commander-in-chief, once upon a time, outright lied in a press conference talking about weapons of mass destruction, and then got a sandal lobbed at his head. Two sandals, actually. And they should have fucking hit, to be honest. Old Cougar still had some moves. Stupid bitch. I hope he never gets another moment of rest. We're going back, baby. Yeah, you said peace in the Middle East? I don't think so, brother. Not while I'm alive. Not while I exist. You think I would let such a thing happen? Now, when there's oils and poppy fields, and when there's not oils and poppy fields, I'll just go there to kill. Fuck it. I'll just do it. I'll just do it for fun. God damn. God damn, dude. Just another Friday night. Just another Friday night for these guys.
Builds on a rapid response force of 2,000 U.S. Marines sailing for the Eastern Mediterranean, along with 2 U.S. Navy carrier strike groups. This evening, President Biden's giving a primetime address where he's expected to ask Congress for $100 billion in emergency funds to ship more weapons to Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan, and to further militarize the U.S.-Mexico border. Meanwhile, a high-ranking State Department official has resigned in protest of the Biden...
By the way, that's a lot. The little bit at the end there, that's a lot to unpack, okay? It's a lot to unpack. Normally, my girl Amy is doing this for a lot longer than these little snippets, but this is all we have time for real today. But that was the end there. That was quite a bit. There was quite a bit to unpack.
Well,
let's just hear that again.
A high-ranking State Department official has resigned in protest of the Biden administration's policies on Israel and Palestine.
Oh, shit. Hold on. That I went too far forward. That's not where I wanted to go. That is also very important. Fuck. Well, now we're here. So let's go ahead. Let's run it.
Official has resigned in protest of the Biden administration's policies on Israel and Palestine. For 11 years, Josh Paul oversaw arms transfers to U.S. allies while serving as the Congressional and Public Affairs Director of the State Department's Bureau of Political Military Affairs. In a letter explaining his resignation, Paul condemned U.S. what he called blind support for Israel as, quote, an impulsive reaction built on confirmation bias, political convenience, intellectual bankruptcy, and bureaucratic inertia, unquote. Paul wrote his greatest desire was to see both Israelis and Palestinians flourish, adding, quote, collective punishment is an enemy to that desire, whether it involves demolishing one home or 1,000, as two is ethnic cleansing, as two is occupation, as two as apartheid, he wrote.
And you might be doing a double take here. You might be doing a double take and saying this is interesting. We have a public affairs director, okay? Works for Congress. All right? This isn't his first rodeo. So why exactly is this specific instance too much? Why do you think he would go out of his way to publicly step down in protest of what's going on? He's seen, I'm sure, a fair share of atrocities. I mean, we sold some interesting stuff. And he talks about that a little bit in an interview that he does. We're going to watch that right now because he has some stuff to say. And it's worth noting quite a few things.
The war between Israel and Hamas has caused an eruption of anger and grief in many corners of the world. It has also launched governments into action, and first among them, the U.S. and the Biden White House. But even inside government, there is some disagreement about the approach. Here's Nick Schifrin.
The State Department's Bureau of Political Military Affairs is responsible for most arms transfers to American allies and partners. And for more than 11 years, Josh Paul ran its Congressional and Public Affairs Office. He wrote in his public resignation letter this week, he knew his job was not, quote, without moral compromise, but calls the transfer of weapons to Israel, quote, short-sighted, destructive, and unjust. And Josh Paul joins me now. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
To the NewsHour. So why are weapons transfers to Israel in this moment unjust?
So let's back up and recognize what we're talking about. We're talking about the transfer of arms that can last for decades, whose purpose is to kill. That's an obvious point, but it underlines the gravity of the decisions that we make every single day in the US government, in the State Department. Recognizing that, the Biden administration earlier this year issued a conventional arms transfer policy which raised the standard for the transfer of weapons to what they call a more likely than not. If it is more likely than not that weapons the US provides to another country will be used for violations of human rights, they will not be transferred. What we've seen with Israel repeatedly in operations in Gaza in 2009, in 2014, 2021, is massive civilian casualties, thousands of Palestinians killed, through a relatively indiscriminate use of bombs to destroy buildings. And yet, in this context of this conflict today, where we've already seen, again, thousands of Palestinian casualties, there has been no policy debate. Indeed, there's been a rush to provide arms where normally there is discussion, consideration, and thought.
So the Israeli Defense Forces, I should say that they only target Hamas officials, Hamas weapons.
What do you say?
Casualties. There has been no policy debate. Indeed, there's been a rush to provide arms where normally there is discussion, consideration, and thought.
So the Israeli...
Man, he's like 50% right. He's like 50% right. He's still selling propaganda. He's still selling propaganda. He's still out here telling people that, you know, the United States is, you know, trying to avoid having to blow people up. You know what I mean? They don't want to have to set a new record of drone strikes every single presidency. It's really fucking hard. Okay? Obama topped it. He topped it. Okay? The charts, it's fucked. It's all fucked now. It's all bullshit, dude. Or at least half of what he's saying here is bullshit. Okay? Half of what he's saying here is bullshit. What he's not wrong about is how fast the United States is willing to provide aid. I remember even with Ukraine, we had to watch coverage for a week. No. Fuck. How long was it before Ukraine actually got any kind of assistance? It was either a week or a month. Regardless, America's already offering, how much did they say? $1 billion? So it's just like, how much of this can we take and how much can we throw away? So be aware of that shit, guys. He's still a state agent. All right.
Defense forces, I should say that they only target Hamas officials, Hamas weapons, and rocket launch sites. It sounds like what you...
Not to mention, if he doesn't catch any backlash from coming out here and like saying this or protesting in this way or speaking up about what he's about to say, if he doesn't get any backlash for it, then he's just up, he's just out here to, I don't know, because it's like, there is no benefit to providing like one of their own up to be, a sacrificial lamb. You know what I mean? To speak up for the Palestinian people and to be essentially ousted by the rest of your, previous coworkers and such. The people that can stomach the war crimes that you said you could no longer handle. What's up, Just Robbie? How's it going, dude? Welcome in. Like your avocado, pal. Appreciate that.
You said at the end there is one of your key criticisms. Did you raise your concerns within state, and what was the response?
I raised them, in fact, as soon as 2 days after the Hamas atrocity, and let me just be clear, that was an atrocity and an outrage, full stop, period, no further caveats. Shortly after that, I raised concerns that, look...
Are you political? Yeah, homie. You literally can't go throughout life. I don't know shit. I'm just a dumb nigga. Listen, bro, that is me too. But there are a lot of people in this world that are really, really smart. So we just take direction from them and we think critically to the best of our ability, and we're fucking operating like the best of them, dude. You know what I mean? Not really, but we're definitely operating better than fucking motherfuckers who wear red caps. You know what I'm saying? Like, you only have to pay attention a little bit and think critically and have like a little tiny bit of empathy just to start off. To fucking be a leg up, to have a leg up on some of the insane conspiracy theories you'll see on the fucking right.
We've seen that for 20 years, the provision of security assistance to Israel, and for longer than that, has not led to peace. And instead, it has used the way it has employed that security is actually led us further from peace. And so I wrote to a number of leaders within the department 2 days after Hamas's attack and said, I recognize that there's going to be a demand signal for arms to Israel. Can't we for once stop and think about if this is actually getting us to where we need to be before we move forward?
And what was the response?
No response.
And how unusual is that?
It's extremely unusual. If you think about other countries in the region,
So he's going to explain a process right now that's going to be pretty interesting. But essentially what America does is whenever they're paying attention to a region, they'll look at what actors they're supporting might be, psychos, okay? People you would put on a watch list if they were in the United States, okay? Now, some say they might be paying attention to these people so they can use them in the future should they need to sow discord or destabilize a region, Some would say that. And then history would tell you that that is very much true and that it's happened several times and that the United States has come out and said that they've done that. Yeah, you can put ! Discord in the chat if you want to join. But yeah, he's about to talk about the process by which they go through and vet threats, And these are reports on people that they are helping. Okay? So, check this out.
And how unusual is that?
It's extremely unusual. If you think about other countries in the region, I won't name names, but there are obviously a number where there are troubling human rights records. And the debate over arms sales requests that come from those countries can last within the administration itself for months, sometimes even years.
During your time, though, the United States, for example, I will name names, provided arms to Egypt, widely criticized for its human rights abuses, and to the Saudi coalition that has killed many, many civilians in Yemen and accused of violating the laws of war by Human Rights Watch. Why do you not resign after those arms transfers?
Because those were cases where I could make a difference and manage through my work and the work of many others in the department to add some elements to it. So, for example, there is a training program that has been going on now with Saudi pilots to improve their targeting. And in the case of Egypt, of course, we have Leahy vetting, where units that are identified to be involved in gross violation of human rights are not eligible to receive US weapons. There is a Leahy vetting process for Israel. It has never found an Israeli unit to be guilty of a gross violation of human rights. It's a broken system.
Okay, well, you could argue that isn't that proof that the vetting that State Department does do, you say, of the Israel's defense forces have not found a violation of Leahy? Does that mean that they don't violate Leahy?
Well, they've identified many, but they have not been able to come to a conclusion which requires senior level sign-off within the department.
Just to be clear, are you saying that there have been units inside Israel's defense force that the State Department has been concerned about their violations or their actions? You've brought that to senior officials, and over the years, consistently, they have not acted on that.
That is correct.
These questions, of course, were put to Matt Miller, the State Department spokesman, earlier today. Let's take a listen to what he said.
We comply with all applicable
Here you go. Here's another fucking ghoul for your viewing pleasure. Just an absolute fucking soulless monster before you, okay? A scared little child spewing out whatever lies and bullshit is put before him without any kind of distinction or fucking personal integrity. He knows what he's saying is fucking lies. He knows it. And he's going to tell you regardless.
Earlier today, let's take a listen to what he said.
We comply with all applicable statutory requirements and regulatory requirements in our provision of military assistance to Israel, as we do to every other country in the world.
Isn't that what the U.S. pushes?
And they do. They do comply with their policies. But their policies are so intentionally vague that they can misconstrue it or interpret it whatever way they feel they find fit, any way that works for them. So this guy, Josh Paul, ex-director of Congressional and Public Affairs, the guy who covers up America's atrocities and says everything's fine. This guy said, "Holy shit, this is fucked." And it's fucked because the State Department has found bad actors within it, people who are watch listable, okay? Dangerous actors and entities within the Israeli state, okay? War criminals, people who commit atrocities, cutting off people's heads, dragging Palestinians through the square behind their car, cutting off their ears. Shit like that. Those people, they're investigated, okay? Reported on. Information is sent up, and then nothing happens. But it's no surprise to the rest of us who knew that the system is built in order to protect itself. So we are in no way disenfranchised. Because we know it's never worked for the people. It's never worked for us. It has constantly worked to protect people who have power and consolidate it. That's just the facts. All right? Fuck. Go look up Operation Paperclip, okay? If you're trying to figure out what happened to the war criminals after World War II. All right? We fucking hired them. Make it easy. Make this search nice and quick for you. We hired him. We hired them to build our nukes and to build our fucking bombs and our tech. All right? The United States. America KKK. All right? Let's see. Do they have anything to add?
On Capitol Hill, police arrested at least 300 activists Wednesday as they held a nonviolent sit-in protest in the Congressional Cannon Rotunda to demand lawmakers press for a ceasefire in Gaza. The arrest came as
It's top of the hour, guys, or bottom of the hour, where I show you the top twink of the hour, but unfortunately I have no twinks to show you. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and give you this 3-minute ad break. If you want to avoid these ads, you know the best way to do it. Go ahead and subscribe, $5 or for free. All right, Twitch Prime, using your Amazon Prime subscription, gives you free Prime access to any streamer you like. I'm going to go ahead and serve you that ad now. Enjoy.
Days that I have ever experienced. The Israeli government, with the full support of every Western power in the world, announced an intent to commit genocide using Jewish fears of another genocide as the excuse. And now it is in the process of making good on that threat. That is what we must stop. That is what we are here to stop. That is what we will stop. There are so many more lives to save.
Later in the broadcast, we'll hear more voices from the Jewish Voice for Peace rally in D.C. Among those who is covering the rally, we'll speak with the Israeli journalist Amira Haas. Thousands of protesters took to the streets around the world following Tuesday's attack on the Al-Ahli hospital in the Middle East and North Africa.
If anybody ever tells you that what you're doing is wrong and that nobody supports you, just remember this. Just remember this. The next time says your support for Palestine is anti-Semitic and you're a Nazi, remember this. Remember all of the people that recognize atrocity and recognize the veil that the Israeli state can hide behind because they are viewed as a Jewish state. Okay? Remember, there's people that say no matter who the fuck you are, no matter what you do, if you do something that's fucked up, you will not get away without retribution. You will be held accountable. So, once again, free motherfucking Palestine, okay? Like I've been saying for years.
Africa, major protests were seen in Ramallah, in Beirut, and across cities in Tunisia, Iraq, and Iran, among others. Large actions against Israel's, what they're calling genocide in Gaza, have also been seen across Europe. In The Hague, demonstrators rallied outside the headquarters of the International Criminal Court to demand Israel be held accountable for war crimes.
World leaders don't have to stay silent. They are only talking on social media, but they are not taking actions. So what do we have to do? Do we have to stay forever silent and wait until everybody there is dead, or when are they going to take action?
Last week, South African lawmaker, grandson of Nelson Mandela and Nkosi Mandela, joined a Palestinian solidarity protest in Cape Town.
Palestinians are counting on each and every one of us to stand and be counted, like they stood side by side with us in the trenches when we fought to liberate our country.
In Colombia, President Gustavo Petro triggered a diplomatic row with Israel after comparing its assault on Palestinians to Nazis during World War II, a comparison that's also been drawn by progressive Jews who've spoken out against Israel's actions. Meanwhile, Spain has rejected Israeli claims that two of its lawmakers are aligned, quote, with ISIS-style terrorism, unquote, because they called for Benjamin Netanyahu to be brought before the International Criminal Court for committing war crimes in Gaza. Ukraine.
The thing is also, the Israeli people are with us. They fucking hate Netanyahu. He has 3 indictments. Okay, all for corruption. You can look him up. Case 1,000, 2,000, and 4,000. All right? Go check that shit out. Bro, he's corrupt. He's insanely corrupt. He only gives a fuck about his own self-interest. Okay? True Zionist, though. Fucking through and through. Only give a shit about yourself. Don't give a fuck about the people who've been there for generations.
International Criminal Court for committing war crimes in Gaza. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says his military has successfully deployed U.S.-supplied long-range missiles known as ATACMs for the first time, targeting Russian warplanes and ammunition depots. The Washington Post reports the missiles were armed with cluster bomblets rather than single warheads.
Which is a war crime, by the way. Cluster bombs are a war crime. Non-distinct munitions.
Such weapons are banned by the Convention on Cluster Munitions, which has been adopted by more than 100 countries, though not by Russia, Ukraine, or the United States. On Wednesday, Russian President Vladimir Putin called the Biden administration's decision to arm Ukraine with ATACMs reckless and a grave mistake, but predicted the weapons would not change the course of the war.
For Ukraine, nothing good will come of this. It just prolongs the agony. A while ago, they started the highly anticipated and highly advertised counteroffensive in Kherson right now. It has had no success. There have been losses, but no success.
Putin made the remarks from Beijing following lengthy talks Wednesday with Chinese leader Xi Jinping, who greeted Putin warmly as an old friend. The pair discussed the...
Jesus Christ. Putin literally said, it's okay. We've been using banned munitions for so long. We forgot that, you guys weren't even at the table for so long. Welcome to the, fucking war crime station. Dude. Jesus fuck. This is the same shit that we got on Egypt for using cluster munitions. That's insane, bro. That's insane.
The wars in Ukraine and Gaza and growing trade between Russia and China, estimated at nearly $200 billion annually. Russia's detained a Russian-American journalist and charged her with failing to register as a foreign agent. Alsu Kurmasheva is an editor with Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, a U.S. government-funded news service. The Committee to Protect Journalists demanded her immediate release, adding in a statement, quote, "Journalism is not a crime, and Kurmasheva's detention is yet more proof that Russia is determined to stifle independent reporting," CPJ said. She's the second U.S. journalist detained by Russia this year after Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich was arrested in March on what the newspaper called trumped-up espionage charges. And back in the United States, far-right Republican Congressmember Jim Jordan lost his second floor vote to become...
This fucking guy, dude. Okay, so check it out. For those who are uninitiated, the House of Representatives gets to choose who is going to represent them and who is going to control the meetings and divvy out time for arguments behind, certain behind different bills and things like that. So right now, the Republicans have all the power. They have the majority. They're sitting currently at 212 seats. 212 seats out of 435. But I think actually it's 433 because 2 people are missing. But regardless, they have a majority. So they get to decide who to put up as the guy who's essentially second in line after the vice president to become president. Okay? The Nancy Pelosi. All right? They get to decide the next Nancy Pelosi. And they have decided that that's going to be good old James Jordan. All right? He goes by Jim. He also goes by sexual assault denier. Yeah. Assistant coach. They're going to talk about it here in a little bit. But he also goes by election denier, massive Trump dick rider, and a few other catchy nicknames. But you'll see, and you'll probably make up some for yourself. We'll make a game out of it. It'll be fun. It's really fucking easy. Trust me. You'll see. Check it out.
Become House Speaker Wednesday, receiving just 199 votes, one fewer than the first round of voting a days earlier. It was the first time in a century that the majority nominee received less than 200 votes. Jordan is a close ally of Trump, was involved in the efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. He's also been accused of a cover-up, ignoring accusations of sexual abuse against an Ohio State University physician by members of the male wrestling team when Jordan was an assistant wrestling coach at the school in the 80s and 90s.
You want to know what's fucking crazy? People from Ohio recall him fondly. Okay? When I ask them about how he was, who he was, people who went to school with him. You know what I mean? People who knew him before he was, a part of... People who knew him when he was doing the college wrestling shit. They don't recall anything about that. When I ask, what do you think about Jim Jordan? I ask an Ohioan because that's where he's from. That's where he represents. And they're just like, yeah, he's a good dude. Really good at wrestling. And that's it. That's the extent. That's as far as they know. They don't know that he formed the far-right Freedom Caucus. They don't know that he used his influence to try to overturn the election, constantly saying things like the election results were false. And then going back and changing it and saying, oh, I never said that. I said we need to go back and have a closer look at how elections are done and some other bullshit that he's using to backpedal. Okay? That's the psychopath that would be next in line after, God forbid, we have Kamala as a president. Okay? Check it, dude. Check it. He not only is a total shithead and described by Democrats as a danger to democracy, but he also went in, got over 200 votes on his first, okay, or actually, did he? Yeah, he got over 200 votes on his first go around when he tried to convince the Republicans that he would be a great speaker, right? And try to get the Republicans to vote, because you have to get your own community to vote if you have the majority, so that you can forget about the minority and just win. But the Democrats have a lot of votes, and they're not voting for good old James Jordan because he's a psychopath, because he's crazy. Okay? But he went in, and the second time he did this process, he got even less votes. Even less people were like, yeah, I'm convinced that this is the guy. No. You have to be so completely out of touch, which obviously I mean, look at who I'm talking about. You have to be so completely out of touch, though, to think that this is going to be the guy that fills the role of Speaker of the House. Okay. All right. Fuck. I'll be going for super long. Let's finish this out. Let's wrap this up.
Congress members are voting again today, as Jordan vowed to keep going. The House has been at a legislative standstill since Kevin McCarthy was ousted by the far right over 2 weeks ago. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Nermeen Sheikh. Welcome to our listeners and viewers across the country and around the world.
Fuck yeah. Love you, Amy. And that other lady, whose name I didn't know. I didn't hear. Okay. There was something I wanted to clarify from yesterday. I commented on a video that a chatter sent because I was reacting to a settler, imposing violence on a Palestinian person. The settler that shot that man on the 15th. Not sure if that guy's alive or dead, but I wanted to give some context on Ben Gvir and show you guys what I'm talking about when I say he wants to arm settlers. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so here we have the Times of Israel. Got that? This is from October 10th. Okay. National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir announced on Tuesday that his ministry is purchasing 10,000 rifles to arm civilian security teams, specifically those in towns close to Israel's border around the country, as well as mixed Jewish Arab cities and West Bank settlements. They're literally out here just saying it. They're like, Ben-Gvir gave 10,000 rifles so that settlers, fucking militarized settlers, could go to the fucking West Bank and, what is it? What did they say? They're just saying they want to arm those civilians who live in these areas. For what? For what? What's the plan? Why would you need to arm those people? And against who? What do you plan to do with those weapons? We know how Israel gets with defensive posturing. Okay? We're very well aware of how they defend themselves. Okay? They're very good at defending themselves against children with marbles and rocks. The minister who heads the far-right Otzma Yehudit party said 4,000 assault rifles had already been acquired from the Israeli manufacturer and will be distributed immediately. Helmets and bulletproof vests have been acquired and will be distributed along with the assault rifles. The step comes after some civilian security teams reported they had no weapons to fight off Hamas terrorists during Saturday's devastating assault on southern Israel. Jesus. This is some American shit, dude. This is some American shit, brother. They said, look, people came into our town and killed us. Just riddled us with bullets. Also, the people who were supposed to protect us riddled us with bullets too, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about how the IDF ended up shooting some of their own people while they were trying to defend against Hamas. We won't talk about that. We won't talk about how that's a common occurrence. We won't talk about how they also end up shooting their own settlers because they mistake them as Palestinians. We won't talk about any of that. That's not that important? Is that important? Yes. It is important. It's very fucking important. Okay? Ultimately, Ben Gvir tweeted some shit. All right? Ben Gvir tweeted some shit, and that gave us the this psycho man is gonna he's gonna do it. He's actually gonna do it. And based off of his track record of being a far-right psychopath, we know. So, I am going to go out on a very stable, safe limb and say those weapons that were used to kill, harm, and shoot at the Palestinian man on October 15th were weapons that he received from Ben Gvir. Used to protect themselves from the fucking population, which is just, living in a prison, living in an open air prison. That's awesome. That's great. So, just to give you guys some background on the people we are up against, quite literally, people we are up against. Because everything we stand for, empathy, legitimate responses that don't lead to more violence, you know what I mean? Actual solutions, all of those things that we stand for, he stands for the complete opposite. He doesn't give a fuck. He just wants to kill. And he is the national security minister. He's one of the people that met with our fucking president, dude. Hobbling around with fucking Ben Gvir in his ear telling him that we need to fucking kill all these people and that, hey, can we get some money? We're thinking about buying a lot of fucking guns so we can just kill people. Is that chill? Are you cool with that? Not only are you cool with that, but are you so cool that you might be our next favorite president because you gave us so much fucking money? That's how they determine their favorite presidents, by the way, is fucking how much did they contribute to the Iron Dome defense system? And how much did they deliver, or did they how much did they contribute to their ability to continue ethnic displacement and genocide? You know what I mean? The funny thing is, this is all learned from United States imperialism. It's funny. Even Nazis were learning from America. We're taking notes and we're like, oh shit, that's kind of fire. Let me taking that one. Ovens used to dispose of Native American tribes during our westward expansion and manifest destiny. Fucking fuck. Okay. Listen, I've just been lecturing for like an hour and a half straight, just trying to get through all of the information that is available to us as of right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to end it here, and I'll be back tomorrow. Okay? I'm going to drop the last 3-minute ad break here. You guys know the deal. I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be looking deeply into all the information and all the things we find out from the trucks entering Gaza to provide aid. Okay? Don't forget that that's supposed to be tomorrow. While that's a drop in the bucket, it's still important to see exactly oh shit, sorry. It's still important to see exactly what happens, all right? We have to keep an eye on this shit, especially at times when the media wants to lack. Because that's when shit gets real. That's when really fucked up stuff happens, all right? Keep an eye out. Love you guys. I really appreciate you. Okay. I will be back tomorrow. TwitchCon is tomorrow. Hope you're excited. I'm super excited. I'm going to have to figure out what we're going to do. I haven't decided whether or not I am going to be streaming at TwitchCon or walking the strip and interacting with all of the interesting individuals I come across. We'll figure that out tomorrow. We'll figure all that out tomorrow. In the meantime, thank you guys. I appreciate you so much for coming. I love you. Remember, be wise. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.